Have you ever felt so tired that you couldn't get out of bed in the morning? About 3 years ago, that was my everyday experience. I'd get up, I'd get dressed, and drag myself out of the house. I was so overwhelmed at the thought of being around people. I'd get in my car and I'd be on my way to work. And on my way, I would cross over a bridge. And when I would cross over that bridge, I would think, what if I drove off of it? I'd have to fight that thought. I'd focus on all of the loved ones I'd leave behind. I focused on all of the responsibilities that I would drop just to make it to my destination. In those moments, I realized I was in a hole. It felt like I was so deep, dark under the ground, and I had no idea how I was going to climb out. So I decided to seek professional help. I booked an appointment with a psychiatrist. She completed an assessment and asked me all of these questions like, have I been getting enough sleep? And was I experiencing this heaviness for more than 4 days at a time? After the assessment and sharing my full experience, she determined that I had depression. And even though I was experiencing symptoms of depression, that didn't quite feel right. See, there was a whole other side to this experience. And on that side, it felt like I was running on a treadmill at the highest speed, and I couldn't turn the speed down. I felt out of control. I wouldn't eat. I wouldn't sleep. And I still felt like I could take on the world, almost like I was superhuman. So I decided to get a second opinion. I went to another psychiatrist. She also did an assessment, and she determined that I had bipolar 2 disorder. I was shocked. I was ashamed. I questioned whether my loved ones would accept this part of myself, if I was going to be able to have healthy relationships, if I was going to be able to lead a healthy life. But even though I felt shame, I also felt relief because I finally had language to explain what I was going through. So after my diagnosis, she explained what bipolar 2 disorder is. It has these two components. This running on the treadmill at high speed, which they call hypomania, and then running so fast that you burn yourself out and free fall into the hole of depression. It was a cycle. After my diagnosis, we sat down and we talked about a plan and what my next steps forward would be. Today, I want to talk to you about how making a mental health plan saved my life and how it can save yours too. We discussed and she talked about how important it was for me to have a plan and how not having a treatment plan is really life-threatening, actually. She shared that people that don't have a plan or don't receive treatment are typically at higher rates and risk for suicide. So it was life and death for me. We brainstormed and thought about what a mental health plan could look like, kind of like my own mental health toolbox. My tools look like medication, prayer, journaling, and spending time with my loved ones. So I started to follow this plan and I got in a really good routine. And after a while, I felt great. I felt like myself again. I felt sane, like I could experience joy and laugh, and I could sleep and eat and just find joy in the little things. So I was like, I'm cured. I don't need this plan anymore. And I'd get off the plan. And in those moments, I think I was in denial that this is something I would have to manage for the rest of my life. When I would get off my routine, I would get right back into this cycle of running on a treadmill and free falling into a hole. So I realized how important it was for me to stay consistent. I stumbled, fell in and out of my routine. I had to restart my medication 3 times. But it was really important for me to keep going and keep trying. To stay consistent when it felt good and even when it felt bad. So I encourage you today, if you don't feel like yourself, if you feel low, or if you feel like you're in a dark time, make a plan. Maybe you seek professional help. Maybe you think of all of the hobbies and activities you love that keep you grounded. And most of all, I encourage you to be brave. This is my first time talking about this publicly. So trust that the people you love will receive you with care. And for those of you that see your loved ones struggling or going through a hard time, check in. And I mean really check in. Ask them how they're doing. And be prepared to receive whatever answer they have for you. For me, checking in looks like giving me a phone call when I cross your mind, giving me a big hug when you see me, inviting me to do fun activities. Now, 3 years later, I can say that I'm thriving. I still stumble. Some days I forget to take my meds. But I really do feel grounded in community. I feel loved. I feel supported. And I feel sustained in my joy. Thank you.